Listen closely. This isn't just another pep talk, not some shallow cheer to fill the silence. This is a call from the shadows, a moment when everything you thought you understood about patience, about silence, about calm shatters because you finally see clearly. You were calm, steady, measured, watching, waiting, holding your tongue while the noise around you grew louder and more absurd. You held back the storm inside you because you knew better. You knew that sometimes silence speaks louder than words, that calm is power disguised. But then, the mask cracked, the veil lifted, and what you saw wasn't just foolishness. It was a depth of ignorance so glaring that it made your blood boil in slow, deliberate waves. You saw the truth of how dumb they really are, not just simple mistakes or harmless blunders, but the kind of blindness that fumbles through reality and pretends it's wide. That moment when you realized you were calm, only because the storm had yet to fully break inside you. It's not easy to keep that calm when you know the truth. It's not easy to bite your tongue while those around you make fools of themselves, dragging reason through the mud, laughing at wisdom and mocking clarity. But now, that calm has fractured, not into chaos, but into something darker, sharper. A blade forged from cold understanding. The calm you wore was not weakness, it was control. But control can only last for so long before it becomes a cage. And you, my friend, have just found the key. You exposed how dumb they really are. And with that exposure, the illusion is gone. They don't know what they're doing. They don't understand what they're saying. They stumble like children lost in a maze with no exit. And you, standing at the edge of the maze, watch as they struggle, watching the cracks spread across their faces, watching the confidence drain into thin air. You keep making them look stupid. It's not a game. It's not petty revenge or a childish taunt. It's a revelation, a mirror held up so brutally that they cannot look away. Because every time you speak truth, every time you don't let their nonsense slide, you strip away their power. You reveal the fragility beneath the loud voices, the emptiness beneath the boastful claims. You don't do it for them, you do it for yourself. Because silence, once shattered by truth, demands respect. And respect is something they have long forgotten how to earn. They thrive in the shadows of ignorance, but you bring the light, cold and merciless, illuminating the cracks they try desperately to hide. Remember, calm is not absence of emotion. It's mastery over it. You held that mastery until the sheer absurdity of their foolishness could no longer be contained. They tested your patience, pushed your limits, and thought your silence meant surrender. But no, it was the quiet before the storm, and now the storm has come. You exposed them because you refuse to be dragged into their madness. You refuse to be complicit in the charade. You stand tall and watch them crumble under the weight of their own nonsense, and in that moment, you are untouchable. Because clarity is a weapon, sharper than any blade. It cuts through lies, deception, and ignorance, leaving only the truth behind, raw, unfiltered, undeniable. Every time they flounder, every time they contradict themselves, every time they try to regain control and fail spectacularly, you see it. You see the cracks. You see the weakness. You see the desperation masked as confidence. And you don't flinch. You don't hesitate. You let the truth speak for itself. Because it always does. Their stupidity isn't just a flaw. It's a weakness in the foundation. A crack in the armor that you expose with ruthless precision. They may try to cover it up, they may try to shift blame or confuse the narrative, but you have the clarity of mind and the steadiness of spirit to keep breaking through until the truth stands naked before them all. You were calm, but now you're something else. You are a force forged in the fire of realization. You are the reckoning that comes when ignorance dares to masquerade as wisdom. You are the reminder that silence does not mean submission, and calm does not mean weakness. You carry the weight of truth, and with every word you speak, you remind them how far they have fallen. They keep making themselves look stupid, and you keep watching, steady, unyielding, unstoppable. This is your moment, the moment when you rise above the noise, when your calm shatters into something undeniable. The moment when you show not just them, but the world, that you see clearly, that you refuse to be fooled, manipulated, or silenced. You keep making them look stupid, yes, but in doing so, you make yourself stronger. Because the truth doesn't just expose others, it frees you. It lifts you above the chaos and places you on a pedestal of clarity, power, and undeniable presence. So stand firm, speak boldly, watch relentlessly. The calm was your shield, but now your voice is your sword, and the battlefield is theirs. You keep making them look stupid, and with every moment, you carve out a space where truth reigns, where clarity cuts through the fog, and where you stand, not just calm, but victorious. There's a brutal kind of justice in exposing the truth, a justice that doesn't wear a smile or offer consolation. It's cold. It's unyielding. It demands recognition and respect, and it punishes arrogance and ignorance with ruthless efficiency. When you are calm, you are gathering strength, measuring your power, observing the battlefield. But once you exposed how dumb they really are, you became the reckoning. You became the undeniable force that shifts everything in the room, that unsettles the ground beneath their feet, that forces them to confront the cracks in their own armor. And make no mistake, they will feel it. That moment when their confidence shatters, when their carefully crafted facades crumble under the weight of your clarity, is a moment of pure power for you. Because in that instant, you prove something essential. Calm does not mean powerless. Silence does not mean submission. You keep making them look stupid. That's not an accident. It's your strategy, your weapon, your refusal to play by their rules or accept their nonsense as truth. Every time you speak, every time you refuse to let their ignorance slide, you strip away their power. You tear down their illusions piece by piece until what's left is raw vulnerability, a truth they cannot deny but desperately want to ignore. It's a reminder to them and to yourself that intelligence isn't measured by volume or bravado, but by clarity, insight, and the courage to face reality without flinching. But here's the truth many don't understand. Exposing stupidity is only part of the battle. The real fight is within. Because once you see the depth of ignorance around you, once you feel the full weight of how little some understand, you have to guard your own mind, your own spirit, against becoming cynical or bitter. The darkness that comes from recognizing how dumb they really are can easily consume you if you let it. That's why your calm was never just about holding back your words. It was about holding on to your soul, your integrity, your reason. You keep making them look stupid, but you do it with precision, with purpose. You don't stoop to their level. You don't need to. Their stupidity makes the work easy. They trip over their own words. They contradict themselves in ways so blatant, it's almost comical. but your calm presence is what makes it devastating. You are the eye of the storm, unmoved, unshaken, clear-headed. And in your presence, their foolishness becomes glaringly obvious. Their noise becomes meaningless. Their false confidence turns to dust. This is the power of the calm exposed to truth. It's a force that doesn't just reveal others' weakness, it strengthens your own foundation. You realize that their ignorance cannot define you or diminish you. Instead, it sharpens your vision, hones your mind, steels your resolve. You become someone who is not just aware of the chaos and foolishness around you, but who rises above it with a dark, unbreakable strength. You are a sentinel of truth in a world that often embraces deception. And that role is not easy, but it is powerful beyond measure. You were calm until you exposed how dumb they really are. And now you walk a different path. The path of someone who no longer tolerates nonsense, who no longer gives space to ignorance, who refuses to be silent when truth demands to be spoken. You keep making them look stupid because it is a necessary act of clarity, a defense against the tide of foolishness threatening to drown out reason. It is a reminder to the world and to yourself that truth will always find a way to shine, even when surrounded by darkness. And the most beautiful part? In doing this, in refusing to stay silent, you inspire others. Others who have been silenced by the noise, who have been swallowed by confusion and doubt. You show them that calm is not weakness, that silence is not surrender. You show them that exposing stupidity is an act of courage, an act of liberation, that the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is worth standing for. And when others see you stand firm, unshaken, unafraid, they find their own courage. They find their own voice. So, continue. Continue to be the calm in the storm, the blade that cuts through the noise, the voice that shatters illusions. Keep making them look stupid, not because you want to tear them down, but because you refuse to let their ignorance go unchallenged. Because you know that every time you expose the truth, every time you refuse to be silent, you build something stronger. Not just in yourself, but in the world around you. You build a world where clarity matters, where intelligence is respected, where truth is the ultimate power. You were calm until you exposed how dumb they really are, and now calm is just the beginning of a revolution in your mind, your spirit, your life. A revolution where truth rules and foolishness falls. A revolution where you are not just a survivor, but a conqueror. A force of nature carved from calm and forged in truth. Unstoppable, unbreakable, unshakable. You have to understand the calm before the storm is not peace. It's preparation. It's the quiet before the breaking point, the moment when everything inside you gathers, focused and contained, waiting for the truth to rip through the lies like a blade through fabric. You were calm, not because you were indifferent, but because you were strategic, because you knew that exposing their ignorance without losing your composure would strike harder than any outburst or tantrum ever could. Your silence was a weapon, a shield, a test of endurance. And when you finally exposed how dumb they really are, it wasn't a loss of control. It was a release of power. Wow. Think about what that means. It means you have mastered yourself in a way most never do. While they stumble blindly through confusion, you stand clear-eyed, watching them unravel. You see their contradictions, their empty bravado, their desperate grasping for authority when none exists. And in that seeing, you do more than just call them out. You dismantle the very foundations of their false confidence. Because there is nothing more devastating than truth spoken calmly, without hatred or anger, but with unwavering certainty. It cuts deeper than any scream, because it exposes the soul of the matter, the naked, undeniable stupidity hiding behind their facades. You keep making them look stupid, yes, but that phrase isn't a joke or an insult. It's a battle cry. It's the echo of your clarity bouncing off the walls of ignorance they built around themselves. Every time you catch them in their own contradictions, every time you refuse to let their nonsense slide, you tear away a piece of the illusion. And illusions, no matter how loud, how persistent, cannot stand against the unyielding force of truth. You are that force. And let me be clear, this is not easy. This path of clarity, of calm, exposed to chaos, is lonely. It is isolating. Many will misunderstand you, misinterpret your silence or your words. They will call you cold, detached, unfeeling. But that is the price of seeing the world clearly when others choose blindness. You are not responsible for their ignorance, their insecurities, their foolishness. You are only responsible for how you respond to it, and you respond with precision, with restraint, with the calm power of someone who has chosen not to be dragged into the mud. You were calm until the weight of their stupidity became impossible to bear. And once you exposed it, once you shined that harsh light on the cracks in their armor, you became unstoppable. Because the calm you carry now is not fragile. It is forged. It is the calm of someone who has seen the depths of folly and refused to be broken by it. The calm of someone who knows that truth is not always comfortable, but it is always necessary. You keep making them look stupid because every time you do, you reaffirm your own strength. You declare to the world and to yourself that you will not be silenced, that you will not be fooled, that you will not settle for less than truth. And in that declaration, you become something rare, something powerful. You become a beacon in the darkness, a voice cutting through the noise, a mind unclouded by lies and illusions. You become the calm in a world desperate for reason, the clarity in a storm of confusion. You are calm, but now you are so much more. You are the force that exposes the truth, the presence that shatters the facade, the strength that refuses to bow to ignorance. So keep going. Keep making them look stupid. Not because you want to hurt, but because you owe it to yourself to stand firm in truth. Because every time you do, you grow stronger, sharper, more unbreakable. Because calm was never your weakness. It was your power waiting to be unleashed. And now, that power is yours to wield, unapologetically, relentlessly, unstoppably. You were calm until you exposed how dumb they really are. And in that exposure, you found your true strength. There's a dangerous beauty in calm that no one understands until they've lived it. That stillness in the eye of chaos, the quiet force that holds everything together while the world around it falls apart. You held that calm because you knew what was coming. You knew that ignorance would reveal itself, that foolishness would be laid bare. You waited, steady, while they fumbled in the dark, thinking their noise could drown out your clarity. But noise is just a distraction, and distraction is a weakness. You don't waste your breath fighting noise. You expose the silence beneath it, the silence where truth waits. You keep making them look stupid because you refuse to normalize nonsense. You refuse to smile politely while their ignorance spreads like a virus. You refuse to nod along when they speak with false certainty. Every time you call it out, every time you refuse to let it slide, you remind yourself and everyone watching that truth is not negotiable. That intelligence, insight, clarity. These things matter. That you will not let foolishness walk unchecked by reason or restraint. Your calm is not passive. It's an active force, a deliberate choice to wield your power with precision. They don't realize it, but every time you expose their stupidity, you change the game. You shift the balance. You show that the mask of competence they wear is thin, fragile, and easily torn. And with every tear, you build something stronger inside yourself, a deeper sense of purpose, a sharper understanding of your own strength. You were calm, but calm was just the surface. Beneath it, a storm was building, a storm fueled by the relentless clarity of seeing things as they truly are. And what they don't understand is this: you don't need to yell, you don't need to rage. Your calm is louder than their noise because it carries the weight of truth. It carries the certainty of someone who has looked into the abyss of ignorance and refused to blink. You keep making them look stupid, not because you want to humiliate, but because their foolishness threatens the very fabric of the world you navigate. It threatens progress, understanding, and the very essence of reason. And you will not stand by while that threat grows unchecked. You are the storm they never saw coming. You are the calm turned fierce. You are the voice that refuses to be silenced by the roar of nonsense. And in every moment you expose them, you carve out a space where truth can breathe, where intelligence can flourish, where reason reigns. That space is your domain. That space is where you rise. That space is where you become more than calm. You become unstoppable. So keep your eyes sharp. Keep your words measured but powerful. Keep your presence unshakable, because the world needs people like you, people who refuse to let ignorance win, who refuse to let foolishness go unchecked, who stand firm in the dark and hold the line for truth. You were calm until you exposed how dumb they really are, and now calm is your armor, your weapon, your legacy. You keep making them look stupid, and in doing so, you remind the world that clarity, insight, and truth will always find a way. No matter how loud the noise, no matter how deep the darkness, the calm exposed to truth is the most dangerous force of all. In the end, the calm you held was never about weakness or retreat. It was about mastery of yourself, your mind, and your spirit. It was about choosing your moment, choosing the way you would wield your power, and refusing to be pulled into the chaos that so many embrace without question. You were calm because you knew the truth needed space to grow. That anger and noise only drown out the clarity you carry inside. But once you exposed how dumb they really are, that calm transformed into something far greater. It became your sword and shield, your steady hand in a world gone mad. You keep making them look stupid, yes. But in doing so, you're doing more than just exposing their flaws. You're setting a standard of truth over deception, clarity over confusion, strength over weakness. Every time their ignorance is revealed, you light a candle in the dark, a beacon for others who have felt lost in the fog of nonsense. You show that it's possible to stand firm, to speak clearly, and to remain unshaken even when the world around you crumbles in ignorance. This is not just a battle against stupidity, it's a fight for the integrity of your own mind and soul. It's a refusal to be dragged down by the chaos, a declaration that you will not be made small by their noise. The calm you once wore was preparation. The exposure of their foolishness was liberation. And now, the calm is your power, refined and unstoppable. It is the calm of someone who knows that truth is the ultimate force, silent but deadly, steady but fierce, invisible but undeniable. So hold on to that calm and let it carry you through every storm. Keep exposing the foolishness, not for the sake of tearing others down, but for the sake of lifting yourself and those who watch you rise. Because in a world that often rewards the loudest and the dumbest, your calm and clarity are revolutionary. They are the quiet force that will reshape everything. You were calm until you exposed how dumb they really are. And in that exposure, you found your true strength. You keep making them look stupid, not because you seek to harm, but because you stand for something greater: truth, clarity, and the unshakable power of calm forged into conviction. And with that power, nothing can stop you.